We are into them. Is that a rainbow? Oh my gosh, guys, look at this. This is cool. We've had a lot of clouds, a lot of overcast the last couple days. Temps have been pretty chilly for late May. So we don't know if we're gonna get any good hatches. There's definitely bugs flying around, but not any kind of noticeable hatch. But if we get some sun, which we might this evening, we could be in for a big hatch. If not, we're probably just gonna be nymphing. We're gonna hang out right here, just do a little scouting before we make a move. I don't love this spot, guys, just given how wide it is right here. We're gonna actually make our way a little bit down south. Ooh, look at this. There are so many flies in here. Let's see what these look like. We got some black caddis right there. And then I think these are just some kind of mayfly, blue wings, kind of yellow body. Tons of them though, man. Look at all those. Thousands. So we know what's hatching. We have things that can match that. All right, we're gonna make our way down. All right, pulling up to our second spot. We didn't settle on that first spot. We know there's better places here, and this looks perfect, guys. See, you got this white water right here. Then it just gets real slow out in front of us. That's what we're gonna start with. And it looks like we've got no company, which is always nice. All right, let's gear up. All right, so we're using a 9-foot leader to start. This is my normal nymphing setup. Tapered leader. I know some people like to tie their own leaders, but I don't think it makes that big a difference at my skill level. We're gonna start with this little Prince nymph to start. It's gonna be our top fly. We're gonna have 2 flies on here, tandem rig. But these princes are perfect for imitating little mayfly larvae. So that is what we'll start with, because we saw those mayflies downstream that had hatched. We know they're in the river. We saw those were pretty small. So we got a pretty small Prince nymph on here. I'm not totally sure what size it is. I bought this years ago. But we will be just doing a little guessing and checking. Tie a little knot on the hook. That first hook right in the bend. And usually we go a little over a foot. Give yourself some room to tie. Ooh, we just saw something feed up top there, guys. Oh man, as we're putting this nymph on too, that sucks. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna put a little emerger on, maybe a little caddis emerger. Oh, but if they're feeding up top, it looks like there is a hatch going on over there, guys. I can see a bunch of bugs. Oh man, do we do it? Do we just go straight to the dry fly? Let's wait like a few seconds. We see another trout come up and bust top. Oh, yep, there we go. We're gonna go top water, guys. We're gonna go with the dry fly. All right, well, we got the dry fly tied on. We're going with that little blue wing olive parachute. I typically start with parachutes. You can just see them best. And we saw fish feeding on top right in this little rip right here that we thought was gonna produce. That's why we drove up here. Oh man, look at all of these flies right here on this rock, guys. They look to be like what we tied on. No, those are little black caddis. That's another thing. It could be black caddis over here. Just gonna have to check. Definitely got the depth we were looking for. Compared to that last spot. All right, we're in position here. Gonna try the inside of the seam first. And then we will work our way towards the middle. It stinks, man. Looks like this feed was kind of right before we got here. At this point, we wish we had 2 rods so that we could quickly switch to the nymph. We're gonna wait another minute or 2. See if they come back up. But if not, we'll put that nymph rig on. Don't really have any sun. We don't expect any massive hatches. Well, the flies on the surface, guys, there's a ton of little flies on the surface, right? I don't know, you guys probably can't even see them, but there's a ton of little ones just buzzing around. They look kind of brown, brownish blue. So what we kind of have here with the blue wing should do the trick if they start feeding up top again. Guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna continue to set up this little Prince dropper rig. We're gonna put an emerger on the bottom. It's pretty clear that there are some flies hatching right now. We're gonna go with like a caddis pupa, personal favorite emerger. All right, well, this rig is ready, guys. We're gonna go ahead and throw it on. We haven't seen any fish feeding on top as we've been tying this. All right, guys, we got the nymph rig ready. We've got one little split shot to the Prince nymph, then about 12 to 18 inches to a little caddis pupa. One of our favorite flies to throw. And we got our indicator way up here, about 3 feet or so from our split shot. And the key that I found, nymphing's probably what I've done the most in the last 15, 20 years of my life. The way you gotta fish this is to find the bottom. You should be kind of just dragging on the bottom. And if you're not, you gotta quickly get up here and pull that sinker or that indicator up. And if you're still not bumping the bottom, then you got to add more weight. Just a constant adjustments until your fly is just ticking the bottom. And when you finally get it ticking the bottom, you know you're there. And at that point, the wind is making it tough. At that point, if they're not hitting it, that means your flies are wrong. But you got to find the bottom before you can do any of that. Ooh, it is deeper over here, guys. We're gonna walk forward a little bit though. Ooh, of course, now they just start feeding up top. Screw that. We're gonna stick to the nymph rig. We're gonna take even more down. Looks like it's probably 4 or 5 feet deep right in front of us. All right, guys, we're not getting down. Time to add some weight. Oh, that looked like a fish right there, guys. That went under quickly. We've got a lot of weight on here, guys. We're gonna give it a little bit more distance. Oh, we're getting close here. Let's see. Giving it about 4.5 feet. We'll try to give it 5. It might just be real deep right here in the middle. Starting to sense that. Oh yeah, that's much better. We're ticking a little bit. All right, guys, we're gonna get a little bit closer to the other side where we saw all those fish working. Oh, Just stepped in another deep ass hole. If it gets any deeper, we gotta turn around. Yep. This is why our flies weren't touching, guys. This is deep as hell here. We're gonna back up and learn from that. All right, guys, we've decided to fish this deep hole right here a little differently. We're gonna walk to the other side. All right, gang, we are on the other side of the river now. Just made the cross. We're heading down to this hole right here where we saw all those fish working earlier. We made a little change on the fly patterns. We still have our print stamp up top, but we just switched to the little RS2 hand tied. These are one of my favorite ones to use in New Jersey. Kind of downstream of the action now. Gonna be able to fish upstream. It's kind of always a preference so that you can set the hook downstream into their lip instead of upstream out of their mouth. I'm gonna fish this spot before we kill it right here in front of us. It's gonna be immensely harder to cast on this side of the river, but we're gonna be able to fish the good water now. Look at that, guys. That looks just like the RS2 we just threw on there. Just like it. We're doing the right thing. Just gotta get these guys to commit. Wouldn't you say pretty similar? I'd say. Gonna make our way upstream a little bit. Fish the water we came here to fish. Gonna move the indicator down about 6 inches. It's snagging the bottom a lot. Is that a fish, guys? That's a fish. I've been so used to setting into rocks. Finally got one. That's cool. Little guy, but we are on the board. Guys, you know what that is too? That is not even a trout. That's a smallmouth. The smallmouth, and he took the little RS2. Whoop. Watch out, buddy. Ooh, he's gone. Alrighty. That's so funny. Not what we were targeting, but we'll take it. And if there's gonna be a lot of smallmouth in this hole, we have some things we can change to. Oh, that would be much better for smallmouth. Took the RS2. Glad we made the switch. It's pretty clear that was what was in the water. Small BWOs. All right, we're gonna make our way upstream about 10 yards. Fish this next little rip. Haven't really seen these trout rise yet. Still kind of waiting for that big hatch, that big feed. We do have some sun kind of poking through the clouds now. So it is a possibility. So guys, when I've got a tree behind me like this and I'm nymphing, what I like to do is let my line go all the way down, just like so. And then you're gonna use the water to slingshot it because you can't cast backwards. So you gotta get that forward momentum somehow. So we're just gonna slingshot it forward like that. Bang. Nice cast right in the rip. I think we've got this place pretty dialed now. Got the right weight on, we've got the right depth between our indicator and our weight. We've got flies that the fish are eating. We've kind of figured out that they're eating these BWOs. We're getting dialed in. Didn't take us too long. We still have a few hours to fish. Ooh, something just jumped right there. Sounded like something bigger, guys. All right, so we've worked our way up fishing kind of the inside of this rip right here. In the middle right there is that deeper water, kind of where we fished when we first got here. That rock over there is where we set our stuff and we're first fishing. So we're just gonna start making our way onto this rip. We just had another fish feed right there, guys. If we see him start going up top in numbers, we will make the switch back to a dry fly. Around now, it's almost 5 o'clock. This is when they should start to feed top if they're going to today. But this will catch them too, even if there is a hatch going on. That's a fish, guys. Oh, we just hooked a nice one, I think. Was sitting deep in that rip. Yeah, I think that's a bigger fish. He's not really turning his head. That's a trout, yeah. We got really, really light tippet, guys. And we got really small hooks, so we gotta be super careful with this guy. Come on in here, Buster. Come on in here. Love to get his nose facing down. There we go. Come on into this breakwater. Come on. Yeah, he's on that bottom fly. He was eating that RS2. There he goes. Let him run, let him run. Come on, Bubba. Come on in here. All right, guys, get those hands nice and wet before you handle the trout. Actually, we're gonna pop that hook right out before we deal with this guy. Took the RS2. This looks like a stocked one. I think most of them are stocked around here. Oop. Get the string off of them. All right. Oop. This guy wants to get out of here too. God, these guys are frisky. All right. That's 2, fellas. On that little RS2 right there. Gonna get back to where we were on our rock.
Did you happen to fix this side already?
Yeah. A while ago, like an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. God. That was one. Looks like a smaller, maybe a smallmouth. There's another one. Oof. Oof. Jeez. That was cool. This is a bigger fish, guys. This is a bigger fish. Oh, man. That's a bigger fish. We're gonna take it really easy on this guy. Oh, he's a jumper. That's a bigger one, fellas. That's a bigger one. Oh my gosh, that's a big fish. Oh my gosh. God. We got this 6X tippet on here too. We gotta be really careful with this guy. Oh, come on, come on. Don't go in the rocks. Don't go in the rocks. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Whew. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Come to shore. Get him in this backwater. Come on, buddy. Come on. All right, we got him. That's awesome. On the RS2. Oh, get those hands wet. That's a fat one, guys. That is a fatty. All right, guys, really nice little rainbow, chunky guy. Just took that little RS2 BWO. Oh, that's so cool. We figured him out. It took us about an hour or so to get him dialed in, but we eventually found the fish. Let this guy go. Get him facing up current. Yeah, we're gonna need to really revive this guy. He's starting to kick a little bit, but we wanna see him really flutter away. We don't want any doubt. We fought him for a pretty long time there too. We definitely wore him out. Yeah, he's starting to come back to life. This is just so important, guys, especially in places like this that are super overfished. Just make sure these fish get a fighting chance. I mean, even if this is a nursery and there's not people keeping them, you can still kill them if you're not careful. We've been nursing him now for about 2 minutes. He's got some life in him. He's coming back. Yeah. How big? Probably 16, 17 inches. Rainbow.
Wait. How's it doing? Does it have any kick in it?
Yeah, it's coming back, but it was struggling there a little bit.
It's tough in this warm water.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy makes a good point, man. This water is getting warm. We're in late spring. These water temperatures, I think, get over 68, they say. Can get tough for them to survive, but we're not really there yet, and it's been a cold couple days. All right, we're gonna let this guy go. He's swimming just fine now by himself. Yeah, there he goes. All right, we got fish jumping even down here behind us. Let's get back into them. Man, there is just a massive hatch. This is crazy. It is just a giant cloud of sulfur mayflies around us. Man, there are a ton of these things. There they are. You can probably see those little guys. I think those are little sulfurs, really small, really, really small. We actually I don't even know if I have a dry fly that's that small. Those are like little 22, 24s. Oh my God, we got another one, guys. Oh, they're on right now. They are on. Oh. This guy gonna jump too? Knuckle buster. We're gonna bring this guy down river too. Man, they are on one right now. Gotta just be super careful with this 6X tippet and these really small hooks. I think we have 20 or 22. Little RS2 hook on the end. That's what they're going for. But those hooks bend so easily, you cannot push these fish. Try to turn his head a little bit. Lift it up. That's another pretty solid fish right there, guys. We are into them. Is that a rainbow? Oh my gosh, guys, look at this. We got a carp. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. 3 species. I did not think we were gonna be getting a carp. I didn't even know carp ate frickin' flies. This is insane. Oh my gosh. That is crazy, guys. Look at that. We got a carp on the fly. We hooked him like right in the side of the mouth. It doesn't look like he was actually going for it. Oh, you know what, guys? That is actually the first carp that I've ever caught. How funny is that? Probably one of the last things I thought I was gonna catch fishing out here. Wow, that's cool. Dude is just sucking things right off the bottom. He was not going for my fly. All right, let him go. Wow. What an interesting day. We're gonna go ahead and walk, I'm gonna back up to where we caught that first bigger trout, because that kind of is the honey hole. That's the deep water. That's where the big fish are gonna be setting. All right, we're back at that honey hole, that first spot where we hooked that big trout. Three species day, guys. Smallmouth, rainbow, carp. Crazy. Gotta love river fishing. Never know what you're gonna get here. Striper fishing. Guess you could get stripers, blues, sea robin. But more variety here. So I know I post a lot of striped bass fishing videos, but believe it or not, I'm relatively new to striped bass fishing. I've only been doing it seriously for probably 2-3 years. Been doing it in total for about 10 years, but I grew up largemouth bass fishing in North Carolina, and here and there I just did a lot of trout fishing. New Jersey, North Carolina mountains, been to Alaska. So those are my roots. Striped bass fishing is just something I've kind of picked up as I've lived here in the Northeast. It's always good to get back to your roots, do something you're actually good at. Striper fishing has been tough on me in the last month. And in Connecticut at least, Cape Cod was a great trip, but Connecticut, May, shore fishing has been pretty brutal. So it's good to get a good day in the books. Had to go back to our roots to do it though. There are so many bugs still, guys. I mean, they are swarming. The thing is, most of these flies are tinier mayflies. And with this RS2 that we have tied on, the RS2 is gonna imitate those emerging mayflies perfectly. We might want to bring our sinker down. That is so important that you're managing that. The distance between your float and your split shots. That should be about the depth of the water you're fishing. And if it's not, then your flies are not going to be right in the bottom. And you're probably not going to be catching any fish. But you got to be constantly adjusting that as you switch holes and switch the kind of area you're fishing, because the water depth does change a lot. Oh, we got another one, guys. We put it right in that little seam and he was there. Alrighty. Stick to the plan. Let's get him back in this slower water. Might be a smallmouth. I think that's a little smallmouth, guys. Yep, we can take it a little harder on this guy. Smallmouth number 2, guys. That one took the prince. First fish on the prince nymph. Let that guy go. All right. Ooh, something big just jumped down there. That's where we caught that carp. All right, gang. 4 fish. So it's not always the case, guys, but what I'm typically looking for outside of just deep water, typically looking for seams or kind of edges of fast water next to slower water. Areas where fish can kind of sit in that slower water and move into that fast water when they see something coming by. It's a way for them to preserve energy, but still get that conveyor belt of food coming from the fast water. That's what I'm looking for. It's not always where they're sitting, but generally finding the seam is how to find the fish. All right, back upstream. We're gonna keep with the same strategy. Catch a fish up top here, come back down here while that spot resets, rinse and repeat. We're catching fish in both spots. This hole is big enough to where we're not gonna kill it after just catching a couple fish. Right on that seam, right in front of us. That's where we picked up that smallmouth last time. The black caddis just landed on our hand. That looked like a fish, guys. That was fishy. Here we go. Oh, ho, ho. Little baby. Little baby. Look at this, guys. Oh my God. It's so cute. Took the prince too. Wow. These smallmouth love the prince. Love that little prince nymph. Been doing the trick. It's getting torn to pieces though. Look at that. That's all right. Still seems to be working. That's number 5. That still counts. Still counts. 3rd smallmouth. It's really making me want to come back here and just target smallies. Get a spinning rod maybe. Some light tackle. Get some spinners. Woolly buggers. Got some good paddle tails, like these red paddle tails I've used for smallmouth in spots like this before. Could be a fun trip in the future, especially as it gets warmer and we're not able to target these trout. should be okay at this point. It's not that hot yet. In fact, air temps right now are in the high 50s. That's why I'm wearing my sweatshirt. But when it gets hot in June, we might be back here going for some smallies. We're gonna walk in, little guys. 1, 2. Just wanna fish that far rip. We're gonna really move our bobber or our indicator down. We got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 feet. We're gonna give it about 5. It gets real deep on the other side of that seam. Well, we've been out here for a couple hours now, guys. We're kind of just waiting for that dry fly bite to really turn on before we get out of here. That's what we really came for. We know this river can be electric when those big hatches get going. That's what we've read about, at least. We were hoping to get into them. Oh, that's a fish. That is a fish, guys. That's a big one. Guys, that's a big fish. Maybe not. He just was. I can't tell. He's being a little weird. Oh, we popped him. God. That thing felt big. It felt like I hooked into a rock. That's when you know they're big. God damn. Gotta straighten out those little hooks. They get bent so easily with these bigger fish. And when you're getting them hung on rocks. Gotta make sure those things are tight. Tight. Man, that was a bigger one, guys, I think. Oh. I think that was a bigger one. We just had one flip right in front of us too. I think we kind of found the little hole, the hole they're feeding in right now. Look at that. Oh my God. Just had one go for our indicator. If anything, that is an indication for me to put on a dry fly. We'll give this a few more casts. If I didn't just hook into that fish 30 seconds ago, I would be putting a dry fly on instantly, but if there's still big fish on the bottom, feeding on nymphs, there's no reason to change. Even if you do have little baby fish going for your indicator. Now what we could do, since this RS2 is working so well, we could put on dry fly with an RS2 dropper. That means just fish an RS2 below that dry fly, similar to how we're doing right now with the nymph. Kind of works the same way. That dry fly kind of becomes your indicator. If that goes under, you know you had one hit the emerger, and obviously you're gonna know if one hits your dry fly. Move down river a little bit. It's sad to move away from where that big fish was sitting, but I don't think he's gonna hit again. We're gonna go way downstream, further than we've ever been. We just saw some fish splashing down here. We're gonna try this new water. Got a little slow up there, up north. Gonna make our way towards the middle here. That fast water is what we want to be fishing. You can only reach it from further out. This is not how I prefer to fish nymphs, further out when you have to mend. I like to fish them really close so you can get that quick hook set on them. But this is just bigger water here. You can see the fast water is still like good 10 yards in front of me, but I can't get there because it's too deep. Speaking of deep, we're gonna move our indicator up about a foot. We're gonna fish that deep water. We're gonna use the slingshot technique, get it way out there. Alrighty, gang, we are calling it quits for today. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We'll be back out here, definitely back out here trying to catch some smallies later this summer when it gets too hot to fish for trout. And we'll also be up in the Cape in July, targeting some more stripers, probably on the outer Cape beaches. So stay tuned for more, and see you guys next time.